You've seen the post, now hear the story. This is More Than an Influencer with Delaney Barron.
Hi guys, welcome back to More Than an Influencer. And today, I'm gonna be honest, this is a heavy conversation, which is something that I'm personally not used to sharing on here, sorry. Okay, my channel has always been very light, positive, and I never thought in a million years that I would experience what I experienced a few weeks ago. I don't want to get into the story because I think it's irrelevant at this point, but I experienced cyberbullying and I am 42 years old, very strong, very confident, and I felt torn down. I was talked about the way that I look, the way that I dress, the person I married, and I dealt with this for a few weeks. I had to deactivate my TikTok. My business was threatened, and it was just so disgusting. And I said to myself, I hope this never happens to my kids. I have an 18-year-old and I have a 9-year-old. And I could not imagine what a teenager, they can get through something like this. You have to be so mature and so confident and sure in yourself to know that the things that people are saying about you online, it doesn't matter. Like, I know who I am. And it took me a week and change to be with my family, disconnect from the internet, and talk to myself like, girl, you're good. But like, if this happened to one of my kids, this is devastating. It can destroy a person. So I wanted to talk about this in a positive way. I don't want to talk about the story. I wanted to, what can I do to turn this into something positive? Like, how can I bring this message to people? And so I started doing research online and I found Erin, and she was so gracious enough to accept my invite to come on the channel and talk about her story and what happened to her. Erin lost her daughter to suicide because of cyberbullying, and she's doing so much work just to bring awareness to it and to make a change. And so I want to share my platform with her to introduce her and talk about all the things that she's doing. So thank you so much, Erin. I know this
Thanks for having me.
not the best,
I feel like this is all I talk about him.
So please introduce yourself and
So my name,
talk about your daughter, whatever, this is just open.
yeah. So my name is Erin Popolo. My 17-year-old daughter, Emily Murillo, died by suicide back in 2021. After during the pandemic, which was hard enough for everybody. She experienced a lot of cyberbullying from schoolmates. But she had a lot of issues to begin with. She had some mental health struggles and some learning disabilities, and she was used to being bullied, to be honest with you. As she grew up, it kind of was part of her life, because she was always a little different. And but I was always able to love her enough
Right.
that I was able to build her back up before I kind of sent her back out into the world. Unfortunately, with the introduction of social media, you can no longer do that as a parent.
Right.
Because it is with them 24/7. They're sleeping with the enemy, essentially, because they have their phones in their room, they have a iPad, they have a Chromebook, whatever. But they have access to everything all the time.
Right.
And it's heartbreaking. It is devastating. These kids had kind of, she had a job at the time, and she was working in Target. She loved it. She had just gotten her license. She got a job, and she, was making her own money, and she thought it was great. She could drive herself to work, and she was working in the cafe in Target. and it's the pandemic. She's got to wear a mask, got to wear a hairnet, she's got to wear all gloves, all the whole get up. And kids went in and they took a picture of her, and they
In
put
Target.
in her Target thing behind this thing from she's behind the counter, and they took a picture of her in her whole getup, and they put a caption on it, said, "Don't go to Target. Emily's eating all the pizza." And I just, why? Why? Like, was there any reason to do that?
No.
And you know, sh she just couldn't get away from it. It went across everybody that she knew on Instagram, everybody that she knew on Snapchat. That picture was everywhere. We could not, there was,
Control it.
we couldn't control it.
Right.
Once it's out there.
done.
And, I was trying to contact Instagram. I was trying to contact Snapchat. I couldn't find a way.
Yeah.
Couldn't even find a phone number, let alone an email
Right.
to get in touch with any of them. And, I tried, and it affected her. And, and I could see that it was really affecting her self-esteem. It was,
100%.
it was,
Child.
yeah, and it was affecting her self-esteem. It was just her confidence. Just, she was becoming more and more sullen, and I just, I didn't know how else to help her. We blocked and we deleted, and I at one point I said, just get off Instagram. We can't,
Control it.
we can't control this. And I think that was the beginning of the end. And eventually she between not being in school and having to learn online when learning is hard for her to begin with, having mental health issues to begin with, she could not handle that one last thing. It's just put her over the edge, and she did end up dying by suicide, January 29th of 2021. And this is the part that actually gets everybody, is it didn't end there. They actually hacked into our live streamed funeral, because I could only have 75 people at her funeral, and they freaking hacked it.
Are you kidding me?
And they posted pornography. They chanted, "Emmy's dead, Emmy's dead, Emmy's dead." They threatened to blow up her casket, her body, and the funeral home to ashes. It it was horrific. Horrific. They literally stole my kid's funeral away from me. And I don't know how to get over that, except that I have to stop what is happening, because these kids are dehumanized behind a screen.
No, 1,000%. And we continue to see it with everything that's just like every day is the same thing. It's like,
Yep.
when what happened with me, my friends were like, "Oh, in a week they'll find somebody else." And it's just like, no, but they shouldn't.
Right.
It
Right.
needs to stop.
Right.
Like,
Right. It shouldn't, yeah, they shouldn't move on to somebody else.
right.
We've got to bring it back to, I hate to say it, but like old school values. Like, our whole world is so fast, and everything is instant, and everything is, we need to take that step back and think about what we're doing and how we're impacting the people that we're interacting with.
Right.
Because
like you're saying, it doesn't feel real. And I'm a content creator, influencer online, and sometimes I'm out and people recognize me, and it's like, oh, right, there are real people behind the screen. People
Yes.
forget. Like, I know that I'm making a video and I know that there's an audience behind there, but you do forget. And then when they're in front of you in real life, you're like, wait, what? Oh, yeah, that's right. There's people that are watching me.
Right.
So I think
Right.
that's part of it. Like,
Right.
and from all aspects, you forget that it's real people behind the screen.
Yeah.
And so there's no feelings.
Right. Right.
Let me go into some of the questions. So I know that you're doing a lot of work after this happened.
Mhm.
Can you share one impactful moment from your work or you want to talk a little bit about what exactly you're doing?
So I do a couple of things. So I did create a nonprofit called Emmy's Champions. because I do feel like every child does deserve a champion in their life. And, well, I just feel like Emily could have had more champions in her life, Um, so I created Emmy's Champions. And really, I mean, for the most part, all I'm doing is preaching that kindness does matter,
Okay.
because I do believe that had somebody
Just
up here stepped in and reached out and just been kinder to her, um, I do think that it would have made a difference.
it does.
I may still have my daughter here, but I don't, because nobody did, because everybody's afraid of what somebody else is going to think about.
Glamour seat of
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And we have to stop thinking about what our image is
Right.
out there. We need to bring it back to, we're humans. We're all here. I put my pants on the same way everyone else does. And that's what it comes down to. We have to be human again,
Yeah.
because we are too involved in technology. We're too involved in social media and what our image is on Instagram and everything else. We have to bring it back to that these are real people. You're a real person. I'm a real person. Emily was a real person. She was here,
Yeah.
but she's not here anymore because real people did horrific things to her. And that's what it comes down to.
Wow. Um, what changes do you think besides the kindness? Like what real changes do you think need to happen, or what real changes have you been working on to like
The real changes that need to happen have to be with the tech companies. Um, so I have worked on KOSA, which is called the Kids Online Safety Act, which is a federal legislation
right?
that we're trying to get put through, because kids need guardrails. What happens is, and I wholeheartedly believe this, when you, as a parent, you want to give your kid everything. You want to give your kid the world, right? But when you hand them that phone or you hand them that iPad and you give them access to the world, you are also giving the entire world
Access.
access to them. And what is the one thing, would you ever take your kid and drop them off in the middle of New York City and say, see you later?
No.
But that's what you're doing when you hand them a phone,
Right.
because they have access to everything and everything has access to them. So we have to put guardrails. There needs to be guardrails. When a 13-year-old is signing up for Instagram, and trust me, they know that they're 13 because they have all the data of pictures and there is so much that goes into the algorithms. Um, they they know that it's a 13-year-old. That account should be locked down.
Right.
It should be locked down, the absolute highest lockdowns, whatever guardrails and safeguards can be in, should be already there. And parents should have to, okay, I want you to have access to that. I want you to have access to that. But it's not. Right now, it is you are sending them into the wild, wild west when you hand them a phone that's got Instagram or Snapchat I mean, every one of these social media platforms have backdoors of everything. Snapchat, there's stuff that you can hide things from your parents. So even if your parent, you could be the most involved parent, and these kids still know a way around it. There's backdoors to everything. But why? Why is it's the meat companies?
Right.
Because they've literally themselves, in all the data and all the whistleblowers that come out, $270 a day is what it takes. It profits the company to have your child log in. $270. Can you think of the millions of kids that are logging in? And so they don't want these
Yeah.
KOSA to go through. Honestly, like, we really thought last year it was going to go through. It made it through the Senate,
Right.
but we couldn't get the House to pull it to the floor.
Do you know what the reasons behind that is? Like, do they say anything? Like, what's
It's political. Everything's political. It's so polarized right now that it's very difficult to, it's free speech. They're saying that it's free speech. What it comes down to is all of these companies aren't being held accountable because they're hiding behind Section 230.
Okay.
Section 230 is an amendment back in 1996 is when it, and that's when at the dawn of the internet, like
Right.
the internet was just starting to blow up, and really it was put in to kind of protect free speech so that, the whoever was putting this free speech out there didn't have to, like be responsible for what you're saying on, you know, AOL at that time. You know what I mean? Like, and so it was so that they couldn't be held responsible. But we have so evolved from that, from AOL and dial up and, that weird noise that you used to hear when it was, but we've so evolved from that.
Right.
And we're not that country anymore. We're not that, that culture anymore.
Right.
And that is what they still are basing everything off of. Oh, well, that's, but they're designing the algorithms to addict your children. They're designing everything. I mean, listen, we can talk about this here. You're going to get an ad at some point if we even just mention, like, oh, look, we both have jean jackets on.
Yeah.
It will show up in your feed. Why? Because everything is connected. Everything is so designed. The algorithms are they're black boxed. We don't know what they are. It's all within the company, and they won't release them.
Right.
Because that's their moneymaker.
No, 100%. And even when this was happening to me and I was getting an influx of messages and threats, it was hard to turn, like,
It's
there
hard.
was no way to stop it.
Yep.
I ended up having to deactivate the entire platform to
Yep.
stop it.
Yep.
So I was like, why is this so hard?
Yeah.
To just stop these people from commenting on my stuff. So it's like impossible.
Oh, it's impossible.
And I mean, I'm 42, but my mother was like, call TikTok. And I'm like,
That's what I was
"Mom,
saying."
You can't call TikTok. Like, and she's like, well, you have to call somebody. I'm like, literally, there's
There's nothing.
to be done.
Right.
I just have to deal with it
Right.
or turn off TikTok. And it's still happening while TikTok is off.
Right.
Friends are like, do not log on.
Right.
Do not want to say they're saying about it.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I won't. And that's how I protected myself.
Right.
But a teenager,
Nope. They can't help it.
they can't help it.
Nope. And their brains aren't developed.
And they're going to be, affected by everything that is said on there. Oh, it's too much.
Yeah, it is. It's too much for, like you said, you're an adult, full go,
A lot.
and it was a lot for you. And so these kids at, 13, 15, 17 years old, their brains do not develop till they're 25.
Right.
So you're taking this unformed, fully underdeveloped brain, and you are flooding it with information that it does not know how to process.
Right. I mean, we really know how to
Right.
process all this information that we get on a daily.
Right.
Let's talk about Emily. Like, what do you want people to remember about her?
Oh, she was a great kid. Honestly, she was the kindest, most empathetic kid. Like, she would get, somebody would be bullying her and she'd be like, oh, whatever. But the minute that they directed their attention and their bullying at somebody else, she was the first one to stand up, be like, don't talk about them like that. Like, they were just talking about her like that. But she, you know what I mean? And she didn't care. She would well, not that she didn't care, but she just kind of just ignored it.
Yeah.
But she would move right on, and she'd be like, don't talk about them like that. That's not nice. You got to be, she was a kind kid, and she loved nature. Like, she was different. Like,
Yeah.
she wasn't the kid who wanted to be on Instagram and Snapchat and all that. Honestly, she didn't get any of that till she was 16 years old. And that was because her sister was in college and she wanted to be able to,
Yeah.
and, and that's when really the world, that she didn't even ask for Instagram really until
Everything shut down.
until everything shut down. And that became the mode of communication for all of these kids. And, it wasn't enough to just have a phone that you could text. Like, they had to be DMing each other, or they had to be, keeping their streaks alive. I don't know about any of this stuff, but
Yeah, I don't really get that stuff either because my son does that too.
yeah.
It's like they get point or something on Snapchat, right?
Yeah.
And so it's the same.
And there's streaks. She would be, I just remember one time taking her phone away. and being like, all right, she got in trouble for something. It took her phone away for a couple days. She's like, can you just go on Snapchat and keep my streaks going? I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Oh my God. I feel like Julian does that, and I don't know what it is either.
Because it's addicting. This stuff is designed to addict them.
Or something?
But it gets them. It
I
addicts
can
them
see that.
because it hits their dopamine. And they get these dopamine hits
Yeah.
in their brain, and that's what triggers them to want to do this and keep it going, because they're getting their dopamine
Yeah.
hits. If one kid just realizes that, and that's what I preach is, you have to understand, like, I understand that, it's very easy to send a text and put your phone down, you walk away from it. But whatever you put those words out there to somebody else, it's impacting them.
100%.
That impact is huge. And, honestly, when I go and I'll go and I'll talk at churches and whatnot. And one of the things that I use is I take, 20 books, and I have one kid come up and just stand there like this. And I have 20 of the kids pick up a book and come up and just say, this is one mean thing. This is, what a negative,
Yeah.
that kid, as they're piling these books on this kid's hand, he can't hold it. She can't hold it. It gets to be too much, because it's not that you said one terrible thing, and then that's how you justify it.
Right.
Well, I only said one thing and I walked away.
Hundreds.
You are only one of the hundreds of negative things that are happening to this person. And eventually they're going to break. They can't handle it. So we have to understand that every word that you are putting out there to somebody else has an impact on them. And so why not make it be a positive impact? Why not, Emily was known for, I would take her through the line and Stop and Shop, and she would be the first one to be like, oh, I love your nails, to the cashier, or she'd be like, I love your hair, or, she would always find something positive to say about that. And listen, probably the person in Stop and Shop was like going like this all day long. That probably made their day. You know what I mean? Like, so I just feel like that's what we need, more of that in this world.
No, I will say, when everything was happening to me, I started putting it on stories, like showing everybody what the messages I was getting. And then I started getting nice messages. And those really what's got me through.
Right.
Was like,
Right.
don't listen to them. Like, I love you. You didn't, and like just saying very positive, nice things.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Like,
Right.
everybody hated me and
Right.
thought.
Right.
And so that is true. Like,
Right.
one person saying something nice,
It makes
it
difference.
made a difference. And I was like, okay. And then when I started getting a lot more, I started like, okay, the world's not over.
Right. Right.
It's okay.
Right.
So 100%, I agree with that.
Right.
That
Right.
just
Just think about it.
be a nice person.
Yeah, just one nice person.
Yeah.
And that's what I want, is just be kind to each other, people, please. Like, social media can be used for good, but it's used for so much bad. And I'm like, I just, and listen, I'm guilty of it. I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on these platforms trying to get my message out there.
Right.
But, as I'm still doing that, I still have to see, I'm like, I cannot take how mean people are to each other. I'm like, comments on anything I'm like, why do you feel so entitled and so compelled to comment on everything? Everything. I don't understand it.
The people, like, for me, they were using green screens with my picture or video in the background, and like that's all their content about other people. And it's like, you really sit in your house tearing apart other people, and this makes you feel good, and putting it out online.
Think about how much terrible they must feel about themselves.
That's what
If
I'm
that's
saying.
what's
So
going to make
it's
them
like,
feel better.
and then on top of that, there's a million people commenting more negative things, and it's disgusting.
And it feeds itself.
And it feeds itself, and it's just like, wait, what? Like, you can't stop it.
That negative energy just feeds itself.
Yeah, you can't stop it, and everybody's laughing, and everybody thinks it's a joke, and it's just like, these are real people, guys.
Right.
Like,
And they don't They don't get it.
Even though with the celebrities, like now after this happened to me, I don't want to engage in any of it. Like I'll see things about celebrities or something happening to a celebrity and then the comments and I'm just like, I know how this person feels right now and it's
Right.
not okay.
Right. It's
Like
not okay.
they're a person.
Right.
Where can people find more information about your work and get involved? How's that?
So I did work with Parents SOS, which we worked on Kids Online Safety Act.
Okay.
Um, honestly, we need people to reach out to their representatives. We need people to, senators, representatives, and let them know that social media does need reform,
Okay.
because that is so important, because these are the people who are in power. They're the ones who are going to make these laws.
Right.
And they're the ones who are going to be able to help fix it. But they're not, because they're too busy infighting. And until they start hearing from the average parent that this is important to us, that we want to see reforms to social media, to technology, to, that to really just based on more on kids, but we need to protect our youth because we're losing them at a rate that is getting increasingly higher and higher and higher as every year goes. Um, we need, so that honestly would be one of my biggest asks.
Yeah.
Is parents need to get involved, stay involved with your kids.
Yeah.
Watch what they're doing, because half of it is what they're showing you. Half of it is what they're trying to hide from you.
Right.
Stay involved, stay on top of them, get, let them know that you are engaged, you care about what's happening. Because I think especially now, kids are being babysat by devices, and they're growing up on these devices, and it is affecting, there's no human connection anymore. That connection, we're losing that human connection.
So as far as parents globally, obviously, the biggest task is to go to our political figures, but on a local level or grassroots level, say I'm a mom in my community. What is it that I should do? How do I start getting involved? Or what are some of the community, maybe advocacy programs that I should start to look for as a mom just in my own community?
Phone-free schools is one of the biggest that is kind of going wild right now in different states. Not New Jersey, I have no idea why, but um, phone-free schools. You want to get involved in that. That is because that will at least keep your kids safe from 8 a.m. to
Right.
4 p.m. when they're in school. You know what I mean? Like, keep them off that device. I'm going to be working hopefully with New Jersey to try and get a lot of the local, state level legislation through. Mikey Sherrill is she's running for governor, and
Okay.
hopefully she's got a whole plan, the social media plan.
Okay.
And hopefully that I can help her
Yeah.
push some of that stuff through. Because nobody else has seemed interested. I have contacted all of my representatives and my senators, and they, oh yeah, we're on board if it goes through, or if nobody is willing to actually be that champion right now in New Jersey. So I'm looking for somebody who wants to be that champion.
Right.
Because I have all the resources from every other state, because I've been part of these parent groups that, survivor parent groups. We've all lost children, and we've all want to see this go through federally, locally,
Right.
however we can, because, the media companies are not doing
They're
it.
not gonna do it.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to self-impose any of these regulations.
Thank you so much, Erin, for this conversation.
Thank you.
It's so helpful just like connecting with somebody who has been through something like this, so tragic, and has turned it into something so positive, which really resonates with me. We're going to put all the resources on the description of the YouTube. Please follow Erin. I will have all her information as well. And if you can take anything away from this conversation, is just to just be that kind person. online, you don't know whose life you can possibly be saving or just making a little